shared investment. Sanjay, can you also issues which people raised about access and all that? What he is also talking about. How down does the e-governance movement go? And what is your idea about E moving to M, and what is the protocol? Just give us some perspective.
Quick observation. E-Seva centers are not just at mandal level. We have sub-mandal levels as well. So I would say every mandal we have about roughly about 6 to 7 E-Seva centers. So they definitely go much below the mandal point. The constraint right now is connectivity, as Mr. People also mentioned. And hopefully with the national optical fiber network coming in, the fiber reaches the panchayats. It's not there the case right now. This problem should get sorted out. And to some extent, I would say 2G level connectivity is available in mobile phones these days, and people are making use of it. And I think we will have to live up to that challenge now. And that's why when I say mobile governance is going to be an important, will be an important part in bridging the digital divide in this country, and that's where it's going to be. Now these smartphones are fairly cheap. I mean, Android phones are not, there are phones which are coming at 3,000 rupees now, 2,000 rupees now. And the prices are definitely going to fall further down as competition increases and demand picks up. So we need to be living up to that particular reality that people are going to be holding internet in their hands and in mobile phones, and possibly the services that we are giving to them right now through a mediator. I mean, they're doing all this through an intermediary right now because they assume that they don't know computer and they don't have access to internet. Possibly that paradigm has to be changed over the next couple of years. But I think once broadband comes to the villages, which is going to happen with the National Optical Fiber Network, then the entire the rules of the game will completely change after that. And then the panchayat level activities, as people pointed out, would really drive the
next revolution.
Would drive a complete new paradigm for governance. Thank you.
Sanjay, thank you. And so we'll take the privacy issue later, since it's going to keep on coming. And you raised the very important issue, and these are available. Experts are available to answer those questions. And I would like to thank all the panelists, especially Sanjay, spending time. Thank you, Raymond, everyone else, the panelists, all the panelists, my co-panelists. And now the post-lunch is for you only. We're going to have into small groups. Threadbare go into it. We have one panel. We'll listen to a panel one more, but it's going to be a different panel. Private sector, academics, it's not the government here, not the World Bank. So different sets of people will talk, and then we will go into specific discussions about the next generation challenges and how do we take this forward, and how do we organize ourselves as a community of practice to take this further. So this will be after lunch. And where is Jacob? Jacob, can you announce the schedule? What is the schedule now?
I think that was very clear was this remarkable consistency about the commitment to sharing data and having data being in the public domain. Globally, I think here in India, the Government of India level, both the Government of Telangana and the Government of Andhra Pradesh. So that's very clear. I think there is clearly a move, and we're at a very strategic time where clearly government wants to share the data and keep it in the public domain. But I think there was also a lot of discussion that that's simply not enough. What is more important and what is challenging is how do we use that data to really create solutions for the rural poor, especially at the last mile, across all these sectors, agriculture, health, nutrition, education. How do you create solutions using this data, which is more and more available in the public domain? I think that is where the greatest challenge lies, and that is where more and more efforts need to be put into. And also we had a lot of presentations talking about how a beginning has been made, global experience even in India, how there are several pilots where this kind of a solution has been created using data, doing data analytics, and really coming up with innovations, leveraging social enterprise developments on this and all that. But I think the key is for us to have a learning system, a knowledge learning system, which picks up these innovations which are happening globally in India, across many states, and really embed it and then scale up these innovations in terms of creating solutions for the rural poor. And I think more and more it is also obvious that partnerships are very, very clear, very, very important. If you have to do that partnership with the private sector, with the social enterprise, the civil society, with citizen groups, with the community institutions that are being built up, and I think just to leave a thought going forward specifically for this workshop, next session, I think these two projects, the Telangana Rural Inclusive Growth Project and the AP Rural Inclusive Growth Project, because we really have resources, project mode, and we have a technical team, willing to slog it out, work with us, it provides us a strategic opportunity to try out this whole approach of using data to create solutions for the rural poor. I think that's why I request in the afternoon when we have these discussions, if you can really focus on what specifically can we do in these two projects towards creating these kind of data-driven solutions, that would be extremely useful. Jacob, you want to add anything?
Good afternoon, Sri. See, actually, some of the important aspects is because we know that most of them are using already open data. So, morning, some of the presentations presented that we are already using the open data without knowing that we are using the open data. In addition to that, because most of the times we are designing the data for our internal MIS or decision making. So, one of the presenters presented like that, how to create the data sets while design itself. The major objective of this workshop itself is how to create the data sets for the public domain so that how we are able to utilize it in the long term. So with that perspective, we are going to stop the morning session. So the lunch is arranged in the other side of the hall. So please join us for the lunch, and we request you to all be present here by 2 o'clock. Because from 2 o'clock onwards, the common plenary meeting is here. Subsequently, after the tea break, I hang up report sessions. So I request you to join for the lunch. Thank you.
What is the total bandwidth? Change in terms of the sanitation outcomes. And as I said, we want to approach the nutrition problem through multiple pathways. Currently, nutrition problem is only approached from a food point of view, but we would want to ensure through sanitation, through the private sector intervention, or through the rural marts. So through multiple ways, we ensure that nutrition behavior at the household level is improved, and we have improved nutrition outcomes. And similarly, on the access to entitlements, as I said, we want to leverage ICT, and we want to have a single window kind of a facility at the panchayat level, which delivers a bouquet of entitlements and G2C services to the SHG households. And ICT, as I said, is a pillar, cross-cutting pillar across all the three components.
Thank you very much, Sharad. That was really, really helpful. As you can see, it's a large program with significantly ambitious challenges and very, very concretely defined goals. And I guess the ask for all of you is to help us start thinking about how database services or open database services can start or support the program in meeting some of those very ambitious targets that they've outlined. We're going to start a quick conversation as a stage setter for a breakout conversation just after this. But I want you to start thinking about each of these components, the value chain component, the human development component, and the entitlement component, and start thinking about which one you want to be part of. So when the conversation starts, you have some ideas already forming based on the conversation you're going to have just now. But as the stage setter, like I said, we have a very distinguished panel here to discuss some of the challenges and opportunities there may be, and some ideas for you to perhaps take into the breakout conversation. In the panel, we have, from my side, the other side, we have Ganesh Keshri, Vice President at Grameen. We have Anant Maringati, Director at Hyderabad Urban Labs. Then we have Venkat, who is the Director for Blue Frog, which is we've been working with CERT for a long, long time. We have Colonel Rao from EP Online, also a long-time partner of the program. And then we are extremely lucky to have Dr. Ramarao, Director for the National Academy of Agriculture Research and Management. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves a bit more fully as they answer the questions you posed to them. But before I go to the panel itself, I want to invite Jacob here, who is Director for IT and Research Program, to just talk a little bit about some of the key data challenges around the program. It's a program that's notable for the vast amounts of data it collects and actually shares openly. Just tell us a little bit about how you plan to use this data, what you've tried so far, what has worked well, what has not worked so well, and what sort of immediate challenges are.
Good afternoon. So actually we are working with the SCRP for the last 15 years. In the SCRP was started almost. So we started information technology implementation something in 2008. So we created a large number of databases, not only databases also. The first risk or the challenge in SCRP is multiple databases. Means any data, first of all, if you wanted to keep it as a data set and present it as a for the public utilization, you should create a data set. If you wanted to create the data set, again the standards is important. Because for example, in India, for example, take Andhra Pradesh, we have a geographical coding of the district, similarly alphabetical coding. Some standardization is better. The first important objective in SCRP itself is today is the data standard, because we have multiple service providers and multiple applications. So every application uses one type of data standard. So automatically the major crisis in SCRP is data standard. The second important challenge in SCRP is the data unique identification of the beneficiary. Because every intervention, as we call it in the SCRP, every program we call it as an intervention. Every intervention has created a unique ID itself again. So again, unique identification of the beneficiary itself is the second challenge. And the third challenge is multiple environments is advisable thing. And we have a automatically multiple types of RDBMSs and multiple environments. That is advisable thing, but at the same time, they are not able to talk to each other because of our interoperability issues. Interoperability issue is the major challenge within the SCRP. And third important thing is the alignment towards the organization. Because whenever I am designing the application, because I am not prepared for the presentation, I am not giving any presentation, I am giving an open lecture. So whenever you are preparing a designing an application, what we have to do is we have to go for the organizational objective. Most of the developments or the implementations in the IT in the organization is based on the intervention base. Means alignment with the major organization itself is missing. So this is a major drawback, because I am not able to see the entitlement of an individual beneficiary at the large. I am always seeing that who are my beneficiaries, for that beneficiaries I will provide an identity, how they are linked to other entitlements is completely missing. So if I wanted, or the organization wanted to identify who are all my beneficiaries, there is inconsistency. Because every intervention is having its own identity, every intervention is having own eligibility criteria. So this, unless the standardization is not created and the interoperability issues are not addressed, the data set creation and open data is again a dream, going to be a dream at the large. To address all these things, we have to go for a integrated or interoperability issues should be addressed immediately, so that we will be able to see the consistency of the data across the databases should be enabled. Right now in SCRP we are having 90 independent databases and around 45 independent applications are running. So, and apart from that, we have a 5 physical location of the databases, like AP State Data Center, Controllers is a private data center, and one is the Center for Good Governance Office, one database in SCRP physical office, another is in outside the country also is there, because we are going for a cloud. So cloud operators coming from the outside the country also. So the physical, server consolidation, if I wanted to go for integration, the physical level server consolidation, data level consolidation, all these are all the challenges right now. for minimum integration, for so that I can create a integrated data set for publishing it. So these challenges are addressed means, okay, we will be ready. And second thing is the advantage what we are going to try to take it from the APRSP project is, because the project provides the clear indicative of the objective of ICT as a one component itself in the entire project. We are trying to minimize the service providers list and are trying to put minimum 1 or 2 service providers so that we are able to bring the consistency of the entire data and also to achieve the integrity. And also during the design we wanted to bring down the what are the key performance indicators, what is my automation objective, what is the alignment of my every intervention to the objective of the organization. So if this I am taking, automatically I am able to design my key performance indicators. Once the key performance indicators are there, I am going to put data sets based on the key performance indicators onto the public domain, so that any public domain can able to, any public or the entrepreneurs or NRIs or NGOs can utilize the data and create services on them, and also do the analysis and also give some solutions. This is some of the brief about the SARP existing system and the challenges and the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. I might call you back here to sort of clarify a few points you made. But I want to start by turning to Venkat first from Blueflow. You've been working with the program for a while, and actually notable of some many innovative projects that you built as part of the project. Jacob has outlined many challenges in the program, but you've shown that even with things as they are, it is possible to build solutions and applications on top of this data. Could you just talk a bit about your experience working with shared data, what you've built and developed, and what are some of the existing challenges that you need sort of more help and support for? You can use the microphone there.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for inviting me on the dais and share some of my experiences and challenges, which throws me an opportunity to work on different applications. A classic example that I could give and give to all of you is open data is excellent, because when we started our career in rural America, especially Narega 1, when we started working with Narega, there was a lot of online applications and all that. There, what we have done is we took the attendance on mobile from the data of origin, where the workers are working. From there, we try to collect the attendance using mobile phones and transmit the data to the server instantaneously and almost real time. Then, after 1 week, the same data is being accessed by other service provider by TCS, and they used to calculate